Hi, the Mature Simmer here. So I'm going to go ahead and work on getting some crops to customs and sell them off. So I'm finally getting the truck, and I had just recently gotten the harvester off the field from my barley harvest, but as I continue to wait to be able to make progress on my hemp, and honestly continue to worry about whether or not I'm going to again get stuck with hemp on the field because of my inability to coordinate my time with dry time. I wanted to at least feel like I was making some progress. So after checking all my options to sell in-game, direct sell, and send to warehouse where I can put things on the resource exchange, it looks right now that, once again, my best option is to get things out to the resource exchange. So I'm going to move my barley and oats to the custom silo and place out some contracts to get that work done. So this episode's going to be extremely short because there's not really a point here in just showing you truck movements. Just not something that I'm going to do at this point, so I'm going to wrap this up here at this point, but just wanted to let everybody know where things are at and what I'm doing. So I'm in the middle of the hemp harvest, so basically this episode will air after the whole hemp harvest is done, but it occurred in a slightly different time sequence, so just keeping you posted on how it all works. But yeah, rather than take this barley to my silo and then move it again, I'm just going to go ahead and put things here. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't additional barley. Swede's on, he just moved milk here, so he's got 2 million liters of milk. That is just a lot. So he just finished moving that. He's having a little bit of the same issue. He let me know with the wet years we seem to have had lately on the farm, or the server, is he's only been able to get 1 year of hay out of 3 attempts. Basically, it never dried for him in other years. So he's been a little frustrated as well with the wetness, but I guess that's, just the opposite of having the drought. So that's kind of what we're facing. I've got some hemp bales here. There we go. Now the wood chipper's in the way. Alright. So anyway, this is exactly kind of why I'm not going to show a whole lot more, because there's just a lot of repetitive busy work that's going to be happening at this point. So I'm going to move this wood chipper, and then I'm going to go ahead and I guess I'll let you guys know what we're talking about as far as quantities. So we've got 60,000 of barley that we've already dumped in there, so that means we've got a little bit more barley than we have oats, because that takes us to what, about 940 in barley in total. So I'm going to move basically these approximately 900,000 of barley and oat to the sell points and get those moved. And as I sit here and look at this board, those root crops have been sitting here for well over a decade. I think we're going on 15 years that they've been sitting in my root cellar with the hopes that they might be useful on the server in some way, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and so I may just go ahead and move everything over and just get rid of all my crops and get as much money as I can while I continue to wait to lose money on the field while it stays wet. So I will... Oh, I guess, yeah, just so you guys understand, right now, just again with the reality of how things work, I'm probably not going to be able to get back on the server again after maybe 30 minutes of work that I'm going to be able to get done here. This morning, probably for another 4 or 5 hours, which will put me at noon or a little afternoon on the server. So we're getting a little bit late in the day. Then I'll have a little bit of time around my lunch hour to work on things, but then won't be able to get back on till after work most likely, and that just means once again my time isn't really matching dry time, because I think it's looking like things might be dry at about 11 on the server, but I probably won't be able to get on for a couple hours after that, and then briefly, and so forth. So I'm just going to continue to struggle, I think, to get things off, because every time I can get on, it happens to be wet. Obviously you've seen in the hemp video when I got on, it just started to rain very quickly last night, and I was hoping, because the forecast showed that it really should only last about an hour, even less than an hour, because it started after 11 and the forecast was showing clear at midnight. But somehow, by the time I got on this morning, the server time was 5:30, so 3 hours ago, the crop moisture was still at 29%, and we've got to be below 20%, so last measure when it was 8 o'clock was 25%, so it's creeping down, but it's really at best doing 2% an hour, which is kind of how I estimated. We basically need 3 hours before there might be a shot of harvest. And even if there was a shot at harvest earlier, I can't get on and work on it. So that's the situation. That gets you up to speed. I'm just going to go ahead and do what I need here. Looks like Moose is already working his new field, so he's getting that planted. My guess is with more grass. But I'm going to go ahead and do that work to get things sold, with the focus being specifically on barley and oats. And again, I may go ahead and finally part with my carrots, beets, and onions, because they're just sitting there and not doing much, and there's going to be no other alternative than to sell them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and move some crops. So I will see you next time.